The coveted Omega armor set is a mark of mastery. Proof of your triumph over Monster Hunter Wilds' toughest challenge yet. But is the armor set worth the trouble? Nice. If you enjoy videos like these, support the channel by liking the video and subscribing for more Monster Hunter Wilds content. And if you see the hype button, YouTube's new feature, click on that, it really helps out the channel. Thanks. Several of the individual pieces, namely the Omega helmet, gloves, and waist, are simply powerful and offers great flexibility. Each of the pieces offer one level in a strong and desired offensive skill, like Burst or Agitator, with Divine Blessing attached to it, alongside one 3-slot and one 2-slot decoration to customize to your choosing. On the other hand, Omega Resonance, the armor's 2 and 4-piece set bonus, is a bit more complex and nuanced. For one, it only works while playing with other hunters, real or NPC. When you hop into a multiplayer quest, the armor set will randomly select between local or remote resonance. With local resonance, you'll pulsate a small, bluish circle that grants you a set amount of affinity if any other hunters are within the circle. For the 2-piece bonus, it is 20% affinity, while the 4-piece bonus offers a staggeringly high 40% affinity. For remote resonance, you'll pulsate a larger red circle that grants you raw attack if no other hunters are within the circle. For the 2-piece bonus, it's 10 raw attack, while the 4-piece bonus amps that up to 20 raw attack. To also clarify, these buffs only work on you and not your teammates. Annoyingly, reading this set bonus's details is absolutely useless. The type of resonance, local or remote, changes every 90 seconds. Interestingly, unlike local resonance where you need somebody with you for the skill to trigger, in the case of remote resonance, once you trigger the attack buff by being a certain distance away from people, you seemingly get to hold on to this attack buff until the skill itself switches to local resonance. Unless you go out of combat or you get out of range of combat. This little caveat is really huge for melee builds, though even with that power, some people may not enjoy the inconsistency of the resonance switching in and out every 90 seconds. In its totality, the armor set is immensely powerful, but the price for that power is very steep. You have to have friends, or play in multiplayer hunts with strangers or support hunters. If you'd like to use these setups in solo play, perhaps just summoning one support hunter like Kai, the hunting horn user, Alyssa, the lance user, or Olivia, the hammer user, would be a pretty viable option, allowing you to reap the rewards of both local and remote resonance. The 4-piece set bonus also makes the weapon skills from the Omega Sword and Shield and Omega Insect Glaive stronger. For the true Omega Sword, the Synthetic Shield weapon skill, which provided a raw 30 defense buff to both you and your allies whenever you land a perfect guard for 30 seconds, now gets buffed up to giving 45 raw defense for 45 seconds. As for the Omega Rod, the Insect Glaive actually is pretty nuts. Normally, the Synergy weapon skill grants 15% affinity for 45 seconds, but with the 4-piece Omega Resonance set bonus, it upgrades itself to giving a staggering 25% affinity increase for you and any allies in range for 60 whole seconds. Both weapons do have a 10% innate affinity. If you were to use this skill, you would have 35% affinity right off the bat that you don't have to worry about. Another interesting thing is that the Insect Glaive comes baked in with decent fire element attack, while the Sword and Shield does not get any elements at all. This really hurts the Sword and Shield as it has low motion values, meaning it benefits more from elements damage. With all that said, the innate flexibility of the Omega set gives us a lot of room to lean into many different playstyles. For our first build, we'll be squeezing as much power as we can out of the 4-piece Omega Resonance bonus. This first build is made to synergize with any weapon type that can make great use of maximum might. For this video in particular, I will be rocking the Omega Insect Glaive for its insane damage amp to an entire party. I will pair that up with the Omega Kinsect, but you can use whichever one you feel most comfortable with. But if you are rocking a weapon that can't make good use of maximum might, for example with dual blades, you can replace the maximum might in this build with Counter-Strike. The armor pieces for the first variant are as follows: the Omega Helmet Alpha, the Soshia Chest Alpha, the Omega Gloves Alpha, the Omega Waist Alpha, and the Omega Pants Alpha. By pairing these armor pieces up with the decorations that you see on screen, we'll gain the following skills. Agitator level 5 for 20 raw attack and 15% affinity whenever the monster is angry. Thanks to the newly upgraded Burst level 3 charm, we can also get Burst level 5. By landing 5 consecutive hits, you get 18 raw attack, and for Insect Glaives, you'll get 140 elements, but that element value can change depending on how fast your weapon is. For example, dual blades get 120 element attack, while greatswords get 200 extra element attack. We'll also get level 3 weakness exploit, granting us 15% affinity when hitting weak points and an extra 10% when hitting wounds. As for our last offensive skill, we'll get 3 levels of maximum might, which gives us 30% affinity whenever our stamina is full. Like I mentioned before, if your weapon type cannot make good use of maximum might, replace this with Counter-Strike level 3. That gives us 25 raw attack whenever we get knocked down, or if we offset an attack that would knock us down, we would also get the bonus. The 25 raw attack will last for 45 seconds. As for the utility skills, we get Divine Blessing level 3, Evade Window level 2, and level 1 Evade Extender. Regardless of the weapon type that you use, this build will let you do massive damage even without the Omega Resonance buff helping you out. Then, whenever it flips onto attack or whenever you get the affinity boost, your offensive power goes through the roof. Next, onto the second variant. We'll be keeping the same armor pieces, but mixing around the decoration slots and the charm to better optimize for loadouts that don't rely on elements, such as a paralysis build, or a poison build, or even a raw build. By pairing these armor pieces up with the decorations that you see on screen, and either the Counter-Strike level 3 charm or the Adrenaline Rush level 3 charm, we'll get the following skills: Agitator level 5, Weakness Exploit level 4, Maximum Might level 3, Divine Blessing level 3, Evade Window level 2, Burst level 1, and Evade Extender level 1. And as for your final skill, it's going to be based on your charm. You can either have the Counter-Strike level 3 that we talked about earlier, or you can get level 3 Adrenaline Rush, getting you 20 raw attack for 30 seconds whenever you dodge an attack. Next up, we're going to lean into the supportive nature of both the Omega Sword and Shield and the Omega Insect Glaive. By pairing those two weapons up with a wide range Mushroom Mancer build and the 4-piece Omega Resonance bonus, not only will you be able to offensively or defensively buff with your weapon, but you'll also be able to throw in Demon Drugs and Armor Skin, and also a special synergy that we'll go over later that makes this viable for even Insect Glaives. Normally, this type of build favors Sword and Shield a lot just because you don't have to put your weapons away to consume items, like mushrooms and so on and so forth. With two specific skills working together, the Insect Glaive variant can emulate a similar playstyle with minor disruption to their flow. To achieve the more support-oriented setup, we'll be using the following armor pieces: the Omega Helmet Alpha, the Omega Chest Alpha, the Omega Gloves Alpha, the Omega Waist Alpha, and the Arch-Tempered Uthduna Pants Gamma. By slotting in the decorations that you see on screen, plus using a wide range level 5 charm, we'll get the following skills: Wide range level 5, allowing us to heal at full effectiveness every hunter within a large vicinity. Also get Agitator level 5 and Weakness Exploit level 3. For both the Sword and Shield and the Insect Glaive, Burst level 1 will grant 8 raw attack and 60 elements attack. To round off our offensive skill set, we're gonna have 2 levels of maximum might for 20% affinity whenever our stamina is full, and Part Breaker level 2. The skill increases your part damage by 20%, making it easier to sever or break parts off a monster. It will also increase the damage you deal with a focused strike. Part Breaker is a satisfying addition to any supported build, helping your team by exposing weak points faster or limiting a monster's destructive capabilities by taking away their tools. Just like the previous variants, we're gonna get 3 levels of Divine Blessing. And as for the support package, we're gonna have 2 levels of Mushroom Mancer, 2 levels of Speed Eating, and the spicy tech of level 3 Quick Sheath, allowing us to heal with the Insect Glaive with minimal downtime. If you have a custom charm with level 3 wide range and 2 open armor decoration slots, hopefully with a nice offensive skill attached to it like attack boost level 3 or something, you'll be able to achieve the optimal version of this build, at least for the Insect Glaive. By decreasing the wide range level from 5 to 4, we get level 3 Speed Eating, allowing us to quickly heal anybody who is in danger. One of the funnest parts of this build is the Mushroom Mancer aspect. At level 2, we can eat 4 different mushrooms that do different things. Blue mushrooms act like a potion and heals a small amount of health, but it does so near instantaneously. Toadstools, on the other hand, act like immunizers and will increase the rate of health regen for any red recoverable health. The Nitro Shroom will grant you and your party 7 raw attack for 30 minutes, and the mushroom icon itself is red to notate that it gives you an attack boost. And lastly, the Parashroom, the yellow one, becomes an armor skin and will boost the defense of you and your allies for 15 defense for 30 minutes. Even before considering the local and remote resonance buff, it's no slouch when it comes to damage. Additionally, if you're running the Insect Glaive, 25% affinity for your entire party is no joke. That is a huge damage amp, especially for weapon types that need it. For example, if I were to use my most optimal dual blade build, link in the description and top right of the screen, I would not have 100% affinity unless I was hitting a wound. But with the Insect Glaive buff, 100% crit rate. Amazing. This is just an example of a meta build. Other meta builds for other weapon types will hover around 75 to 95% affinity if not at 100%. Even if your teammates are getting 5% of that 25% boost, that still ensures consistency on higher DPS output. As for the final variant, we're going to reduce our Omega Resonance down to a 2-piece bonus. While the 4-piece Resonance buff can be quite explosive, the inconsistency of the fluctuation between remote and local makes Omega Resonance less than ideal. To fix that, we're going to throw in the tried and true 3 pieces of a Lord Soul set. Lord Soul grants us a couple of different things. First, we get a 5% increase to our base raw attack at the cost of 5% lower defenses. Additionally, if we are above a certain threshold, we are able to take 1 lethal hit per life. On average, as of Title Update 3, the attack boost equates to 11 raw attack, which means whenever Omega Resonance turns to Remote Resonance, you'll get 21 raw attack instead of 20 with the 4-piece bonus. For this build, we're going to be using the Omega Helmet Alpha, the Raidao Chest Gamma, the Omega Gloves Alpha, Raidao Waist Gamma, and the Uthduna Pants Gamma. With the charm and decorations that you see on screen, we'll get the following skills. Agitator level 5, Latent Power level 5, which gives us 50% affinity and lowered stamina consumption for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Usually Latent Power will last for only 2 minutes, but because we have 2 pieces of the Raidao armor pieces, we get a special 2-piece bonus that grants an additional 30 seconds to our Latent Power uptime. To trigger Latent Power, you're going to need to be in a fight for at least 2 minutes or take 130 damage. We'll also get 2 levels of Weakness Exploit, 1 level of Burst, and 3 levels of Maximum Might. And lastly, we'll have 1 level of Counter Strike. As for our defensive and utility skills, we're going to have Quick Sheath level 3, Divine Blessing level 2, and 3 open level 1 decoration slots. If you are rocking the Lagiacrus weapons, that's 3 Thunder Resistance that you can slot in. Otherwise, 3 levels of Constitution is a great generalist pick. As for weapons, generally you want Crit Boost level 3 by using the 2 and 1 slot decoration if you're using a non-Artian weapon, and on the last 3 slot decoration, go for a sharpness enhancing skill like Razor Sharp plus Handicraft, or if you're using the more offensive variant, go with Master's Touch. Specifically for the Omega Sword and Shield, I would instead use the 2 slot and 1 slot decoration to get Offensive Guard level 3, and for the 3 slot decoration, that's dealer's choice. If you're going to be more aggressive, I recommend a sharpness enhancing skill, plus the guard skill to reduce stamina used when blocking. And there you have it, 4 different variants for the Omega armor set.
Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this.
At first, when I read the Omega Resonance skill ability, I was not too hyped about it. It seems very limiting for certain weapon types and not many can use it well. But now after testing, my whole viewpoint has changed. This armor set is probably one of, if not the best armor set in the game right now if you play multiplayer, or if you don't mind summoning support hunters when you're playing solo. Once you unlock this armor set, give it a try and let me know what you think. There is immense potential in that Insect Glaive 25% affinity buff. That alone is well worth bringing to any hunting party. If you're excited to try out this armor set, but struggle to beat Savage Omega Planetus, I've got 2 things that can maybe help you out. First up, I created an Omega hunting squad that you can join in the game and try to communicate with players who are online there. The squad ID is on screen and in the description below. For the second thing, I've compiled 5 essential tips that I think will immensely help anyone trying to clear Savage Omega Planetus. Check out the video on screen right now. And as always, thank you for watching. My name is Varsona, and I'll see you in the next video.